So TRRC is coming to a close. The last hearings, public hearings, are going to take place, if I am correct, tomorrow or at the end of this month. I'm not too sure. Because every time you thought they've lied enough and the sky is about to cave in, they seem to find some extension from somewhere. Why not? If I was being paid $500,000 a month in the Gambia, I would do anything in my power, everything in my power, to extend my contract. Why not? Plus, secondly, it's been prime time entertainment for the majority of people who dedicate their time to watch it. I mean, I made it clearly on the Voice of America and on Freedom Radio and on various Gambian media platforms that the TRRC set itself a foundation that couldn't sustain it in any legal establishment. The Gambia's Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission will not stand the test of scrutiny. And I've discussed the reasons why about 3 years ago, in 2018, I believe. Yeah, I made it absolutely clear that you cannot set a judicial process or any legal process and then select the individuals that are supposed to run the process out of individuals who didn't like the person on whose case they are going to sit. I mean, we all know it. It's just that Gambia is full of hypocrites. It's full of people who are not honest. They have no integrity. And sadly, morality doesn't figure when it comes to Gambia. Hell, yeah. One of the political party leaders said, nobody gets elected on morals. And I wonder whether a sober lawyer would ever say that morality doesn't get people elected. Morality is not the reason why they select people to sit in positions of public office. I just don't understand it. I thought maybe it was a blip. He didn't mean it. But a lawyer sitting before public platforms and saying that people don't get selected because of morals. So what? If somebody was a drunkard, somebody was a prostitute, somebody was a thief, a burglar, openly known to be such a person, you're going to select them to public office to become presidents, to become Gambia's ambassadors overseas? Come on. Now, I'll tell you what's wrong with the TRRC. And we've seen a very strong argument that the chairman of the TRRC is an illegal appointment in the first place. Dr. Lamin Tamba was never a judge of the High Court or any equivalent court. Not in the Gambia, not anywhere that any of us knows. Plus, he didn't have the credentials, the qualifications to become a judge of the High Court of the Gambia or a superior court. If you know of any of those positions in his CV or on his CV, if you've seen them, or if you know he was a High Court judge somewhere, or he had the capability of becoming a High Court judge or a superior court in the Gambia, please let me know. Because the requirements to become the chairman of a commission of inquiry in the Gambia are crystal clear. We shared it. Everyone knows. But again, Gambian people, and this is what I keep saying, the law is not a goalpost that you can move from place to place depending on whose case is being heard. I want you guys to develop one principle. Be honest for once, at least when it comes to legality. Let's be fair. It doesn't matter who is standing before the courts. If they're black or white, young, old, male, female, we cannot allow that particular person to be abused because we don't like them. The law should never work like that. We can do our daily politics. We can push and pull. We can lie. We can connive, like the president of the Gambia said. You can lie to the public. Tell them what you don't mean to do. That's what the President of the Gambia said. In public, he stated that one does not have to say what you are going to do. You can tell the general public matters that you don't have any interest in implementing. Just please them. Just tell them I'll build a bridge between Banjul and Barrow. Tell them I'll give them free Wi-Fi. Tell them I'll build 50 hospitals. Tell them I'll create 20,000 jobs. Tell them I'll build 600 kilometers of roads. Tell them I'll build 3,000 classrooms in the space of 4 years. Even if you knew it was a lie. Even if you knew you weren't meant to do those things. So the TRRC is a legal process. And we've all read the provisions of our constitution. The 1997 constitution of the Gambia gave total immunity to the junta. We've seen the argument at the Supreme Court. And I said this before. The Supreme Court appears, I'm not saying the Supreme Court is biased or whatever. No, that would be perjury. Their ruling to me appears to be very dangerous. Extremely dangerous. And I've set examples of why the Chief Justice of the Gambia himself should be arrested, tried, convicted, and jailed or paid back the 4.2 million, that is 7 million, that the Justice Ministry spent on buying vehicles for themselves. I made that absolutely clear. So the Chief Justice of the Gambia was part of a group of Justice Ministry who knew that they violated the general orders of the Republic of the Gambia. Because the general orders categorically state that nobody should buy a vehicle engine beyond a V6 for official duty. So therefore, when they bought that Land Cruiser V8 for the Chief Justice of the Gambia, knowing fully well that it was a contravention of the general orders, they were breaking the laws. They were breaking every single thing that the government set out in terms of efficiency, savings for the general public. The Chief Justice of the Gambia is one of the perpetrators of New Gambia. Now, if you're setting a Truth and Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, I don't think there's any truth. Let's say it's a commission of inquiry, because this TRRC, as we call it for short, which is the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission. Let's just say it's a commission of inquiry, because there's no truth to it. It has never been reconciliatory. It has always been bombastic, cantankerous, aggressive, pushing people to lie, putting words in people's mouths, accusing people for what they didn't say, or turning people's words and twisting them and turning them around. Or you testify today, they call you a liar, they charge you like they did to Lamin and JP, is it JP Mendy or JC Mendy and others? They charged them and said they were lying. And they wanted to charge Yankuba Toure and Fatimata Jompa Sise of perverting the course of justice. And they dropped that case because it turned out Kanye, the chap that claimed they obstructed his path to his testimony, turned around and said, I actually lied. They didn't obstruct me in my path to my testimony. And therefore, the TRRC from the beginning, and I'm going to go back to the constitution of the TRRC, how they made it up, who's in that TRRC, what's the composition of the TRRC. That's what I want to look at, so that you all know that if this goes to court, all it needs is for somebody to launch an appeal, judicial review, and it'll be thrown out. The same way that the appeals court killed the Jammeh Commission. Again, the Jammeh Commission, Surahata Jammeh should not have been a judge. He was older than 70 years old. I'm sure when he sat at the commission, he was way older than 70 years old, 75 years old. Secondly, Surahata Jammeh was conflicted. He had a bone of contention with Jammeh. He had a bone to pick with Jammeh. He didn't pay his taxes. He's in the same position as the leader of the United Democratic Party, the same position as Ami Bensouda. Ironically, Ami Bensouda was the lead counsel of the Jammeh Commission. So you see why both commissions will not stand the test of scrutiny. If it goes to any legal house, any law court, all the people adversely mentioned or people charged need to do is raise the case that the investigation was impartial, it was unfair, it was targeted, it was a witch hunt, and therefore all its findings, not one, its findings in entirety should be thrown in the bin. Until we learn to have that level of honesty, we will not achieve anything as a nation. Now, for all of the accusations that they levy against Jammeh, everything they call him, they cannot say that man didn't apply the law to the letter when it came to everyone. There was no selective justice under Jammeh. You can claim every single thing, that he owned the courts. No, he didn't own the courts. Jammeh was losing court cases. His government was losing court cases in his time. In fact, one of the ones that became relevant over the last 2-3 years was a court case he lost where they attempted to amend the constitution improperly. So therefore, for people to sit down and say, oh, Jammeh's law courts were owned by Jammeh, he dictated what the rulings were, it's all bogus, it's false. Again, it's one of a plethora of accusations that they levied against the man, knowing fully well that they were lying. We've seen confessions from their camps, people who hated Jammeh, people who were his biggest critics, biggest enemies, are all confessing now as to how they connived, how they conspired against the man just because they wanted him out. So those people are today responsible for what the Republic of the Gambia and the general public are facing. The deaths, the murders, the disappearances, the burglaries, the thieving people, the mob justice that the thief and other people are facing. The fear of our Gambian streets these days. The fear of our own houses that we live in. Who would have thought Gambia was going to disintegrate? The state was going to collapse this fast to a point where people sleep in their houses but they're not comfortable in their beds. Now, to me, that is a total collapse of state. Because if you cannot protect the streets, people can understand. People can say the streets are dangerous. We're not going to go out. But if people are afraid of their bedrooms as well, then that is anarchy. That is a state of total destruction. And that's where Gambia is today, unfortunately, brothers and sisters. So the TRRC was constituted wrongly. First and foremost, let's start with the Chief Executive Officer of the TRRC. His name is Dr. Again, African doctors, right? Dr. Baba Gali Jallow. Who is Baba Gali Jallow? He was a former journalist, or maybe still a journalist, I don't know. Ran the independent newspaper. The independent newspaper, we saw that chap that came, one of their reporters, is it Willan or Yelan or something, I can't remember, who testified at TRRC, who confirmed that the independent newspaper knew very well that some of the stories they were running against Jammeh were false. And he named a few people. Unfortunately, I don't like naming people in my Facebook Live because for me, it's not an individual battle. It's not personal. I never want to fight personal with people. That's not me. I don't pick personal battles. All right? I think I've grown beyond that a long time ago. Now, that witness testified at TRRC and stated that the independent newspaper knew fully well that they were running false stories against Jammeh and his government. And as part of that propaganda, smear campaign against Jammeh, reporting false stories against Jammeh, the state wanted to take action against the independent newspaper. And that's when Baba Gali Jallow, the CEO of the TRRC, fled the country and sought refuge elsewhere. That's what he did. So therefore, Dr. Baba Gali Jallow has a bone to pick. He has beef between him and Jammeh. He had ulterior motives, an agenda of propagating something against Jammeh. He should not have been the Chief Executive Officer of the TRRC. It's wrong. It's impartial. It's a breach of every single principle of law, especially the conflict of interest, which is, unfortunately, a fatal flaw in any law case. You can't have an enemy sitting on the case of somebody that they wanted to kill, somebody that they ran smear campaign against, somebody that they clearly abhor, rightly or wrongly. They should never be sitting on that case. They should never be in charge of any institution that investigates that person. So therefore, Dr. Baba Gali Jallow, if you were an academic, as your title suggests, doctor, you would have known that there is no law process that allows individuals who are open enemies to sit in each other's case. When they do jury vetting in the United Kingdom and the United States, they make sure the jury they pick are not involved in the case of the defense or the prosecution. They are not overly influenced by the defense or prosecution. They are not related to the victim or the perpetrator. They had absolutely no interest, no connections to a legal case. Transitional justice, of which TRRC is a legal case. And therefore, anyone who had any connection with that shouldn't be sitting on that case. Hell, even Esa Fall shouldn't be sitting on that case, but I'll come to his case in a minute. Alright? So I want you guys to understand one thing. That TRRC has violated every single principle of law. Now let's move on. I'm not going to spend too much time on Dr. Baba Gali Jallow. You have the deputy chairman. So the chairman of TRRC I discussed first. He's not qualified to sit as a chairman of the TRRC because of one, his age. Number two, he was not a high court judge before or didn't have credentials that amount to qualification to become a high court judge or a superior court or an upper court in the Gambia. So he therefore sat at the TRRC illegally. They violated the constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. And Dr. Baba Gali Jallow of the TRRC said that any government that violates the constitution of the Gambia, he said abrogation of the constitution can therefore not have anything to complain about overthrows. If he flipped that round, he's saying if a government abrogates the constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, that government deserves to be overthrown, even violently. Because his colleagues, his friends, tried to violently overthrow Yahya Jammeh in December 2014. He's encouraging coups. We saw the former Justice Minister and Attorney General and the Minister of Justice, Barrow, when the mob turned up at court and they were pelting Yankuba Toure's convoy, his vehicle. And they openly said on TV that they've turned up at the court because they wanted to kill Yankuba Toure. Instead of arresting those people for attempted murder, he said, oh, you see people's reactions. It's good that the people said this. This is the People's Commission. Yeah? And therefore, it's good for people to stand up in the open and say, I came here because I wanted to kill somebody. And Barrow said, that was the People's Commission. The people's reactions were brilliant. He enjoyed it. He loved it. So people can openly attempt to kill somebody and even tell you on top of that. And you thought that was something to glorify? Man, I don't know what part of Gambia I grew up in. I think I grew up in a completely, totally different part of Gambia. Because what I'm hearing people saying these days is preposterous. Absolutely nonsensical. I've never heard anything like that in my life. Even if you harbor such hate against somebody, if you're in a position of authority like Barrow was, you ensure you exercise calm, you calculate everything and speak within the remit of the law. There was absolutely no need for any of those people to turn up with rocks and stones and whatever weapons they had with them to try and kill somebody in front of the Justice Minister and get glorified and get called heroes. So therefore, the TRRC is causing problems. The chairman and the chief executive shouldn't be there. Let's go to the deputy chairman of the TRRC. Her name is Adelaide Sosa. The deputy chairman of TRRC has a daughter that had a public falling out with Jammeh. Again, she was what we call in Gambia journalists. She fled the country for whatever reasons. I don't know. I don't know the genesis to their problems, so I don't know why she fled the country. But she fled anyway because she had issues with Jammeh. Whether she was involved in reporting false stories, I do not know. All I know is these people always had something else. It's always a personal battle with these people. They are not out to fight for the nation. They are there to fight for themselves, and that's it, and their families. And their fight against Jammeh has always been personal. Because for whatever reason, 3 months into his government, Jammeh faced attacks, violent attacks from the army. So her daughter had a public falling out with Jammeh and wanted Jammeh's head. We heard some of the coup plots with mercenaries who went to Casamance in Guinea-Bissau to try and overthrow Jammeh violently. Her name was mentioned. So therefore, her mother had an interest in the TRRC, had an interest in any case that investigated Yahya Jammeh. So therefore, she absolutely shouldn't be sitting at the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, or Commission of Inquiry, I prefer to call it. So her position there is untenable. But we made that clear. The same deputy chairman of TRRC turned up and said, Jola people or Fonyi people are the obstacle to reconciliation in the country. Well, tell me at the TRRC, which Jola person is in a prominent position to reconcile with people? Because for you to go and talk to people, to do peace talks, to reconcile, you have to have representatives from all ends. So if you thought Fonyi and Jolas were the problem, Ms. Sose, Adelaide Sose, why then didn't you pick commissioners from Fonyi, or Jola commissioners, or other people, so that people can have trust in the TRRC? Why didn't you appoint a Jola person in any of the prominent or influential positions at the TRRC, so that there can be a balance? If you want the Israelis and the Palestinians to stop fighting, and you're going into negotiation to reconcile, you get Palestinians and you get the Israelis, you sit them at a table and you discuss what was going on. That's what was supposed to happen. Oh, you thought Fonyi and Jolas were a problem, but you're not bringing Fonyi to the table and Jolas to the table so you can reconcile. How? Reconciliation is one way? See why I don't want to call the TRRC TRRC. I call it Fabrication, Revenge and Retribution Commission, FRRC, because that's what it's been from day one. We move on to the lead investigator of the TRRC, who picked up a gun openly, wanted to shoot Yahya Jammeh, kill him, overthrow his government. And if that failed, push the country into civil war. Because I'm not sure those people were going to succeed in overthrowing Yahya Jammeh. There was no way they were going to succeed in overthrowing him. So therefore, if they're armed to the teeth and they were in numbers, when they failed to take over State House, they would have retreated somewhere and it would have been civil war we descended into. Just like 1981. But this could have taken longer. Thank God. It didn't take long. The attack was crushed, destroyed, ended swiftly by junior officers of the Gambia Armed Forces, commanded by our brilliant generals who were at the State House or elsewhere. And thank you very much for defending the Constitution and for standing up for the state. That's what gallant soldiers do. Gallant soldiers don't work in the army, but trying to destroy the state from within. So that Njai guy that was at TRRC, who was being praised for picking up guns to try and overthrow a democratically elected government, is not a hero, he's a villain, he's a coward, he's a terrorist, together with all the people he worked with to try and overthrow the government. But these people were encouraged by SFR, encouraged by Barrow, encouraged by Dr. Baba Gale Jallow, encouraged by Alhaji Sedi Barrow, who picked up guns to go and kill Jammeh on 30 December 2014. As soon as he heard his comrades were on the floor, their bodies strewn on the floor, he fled. He ran away like a little sissy, a little girl. Fled. Now, I don't know about you, but if I go out to fight against somebody with my comrades, and the attack was on, and I've seen my comrades on the floor killed, I will fight to the death, or I'll fight until I succeed. I'm not going to run away like a little girl. None of them was a hero. They're all cowards. They committed crimes against the state. They're all convicted criminals. What did they do? They reinstated them in the army. They glorified them. They said, you guys were heroes because we picked up weapons to go and overthrow a democratically elected government. I'm not going to talk about their intelligence, because for me, the setup and the whole advance on State House sounded a bit like Mickey Mouse. Comical. Absolutely stupid. Let's suppose people like me who don't like Barrow, and Barrow has committed crimes. His government has committed crimes. Look, I know the president himself never commits crime or doesn't go out to commit crimes like murder and other things. So I used to say the government done that, but Gambian people, when I said to them, it's the government that is responsible, they always say, oh no, it's the president. Barrow killed somebody. Jammeh killed somebody. No. People died under their government, security forces. Haruna Jatta was killed by Barrow government. Faraba youths were killed by Barrow government. Sirifo Kujabi was killed by Barrow government. Liz Gomez was killed by Barrow government, and several others. Let's suppose 2-3 of those people were my friends and family. Yes, and 2-3 of them may have been my friends and family. One of them is definitely my family. Let's suppose we don't like what Barrow did. If I went and picked up a weapon tomorrow to try and overthrow him, do you think I'll be a hero? No. Sorry. If you go and overthrow somebody, it's like playing in a football cup final. You have a chance to score a goal simple, but you tried the outrageous flick. You try the flamboyant finish. If it goes in, oh my God, yeah, that guy, he scored a fantastic goal. Brilliant. But if you tried it and you missed your target or you failed to score, you are a massive villain. That's what coups are all about. And if you fail, whatever treatment you receive from the state, you cannot sit there and complain and say somebody's kicked you like Barlow Kante and others did after murdering 6-7 soldiers in cold blood. Soldiers who were in their bed, not on guard. I mean, how can you just go and see somebody lying down in bed and slaughter them? You came to attack the army barracks and overpower. Why are you going into people's bedrooms? But then we're seeing Barlow Kante glorified. SRFL and TRRC didn't want to know the full truth about the attack in Farafenni in August 1996. Was it August or September? August, I think, 1996. They killed 7 gallant Gambian soldiers in cold blood. But SRFL didn't want to know behind the players behind that attack, because SRFL knows Barlow Kante is an employee of his boss, Charles Taylor. Now SRFL knows that. And therefore, he's not going to dig deep to find out who sent these mercenaries to Farafenni to butcher our young army recruits and other soldiers. That's what they did on that fateful night in Farafenni. They killed our brothers just like that. And then they turn around and say, oh, you kicked Barlow Kante when he was arrested. Westminster here, a year or 2 ago, somebody turned up with a knife. They suspected him of being a terrorist. They killed him. During Obama's tenure, somebody came near White House. You're not allowed to go near White House with arms, with guns. They kill you straight away. Twice, they shot people and killed them. They didn't come to overthrow Obama. They just went there with arms, probably to start random shooting of people. Westminster is not where the Prime Minister of England lives. It's their House of Parliament here. You go down there, they kill you. You pick up guns against Jammeh, you get killed. If you get caught like that Njai guy, then you get taken through the law courts. He's lucky he's alive. And I'm glad they kept him alive, because for me, as an individual, if somebody's been arrested and subdued, it's no longer a threat. There's no point executing them unless the courts sentence them to death and you wanted to execute them. That's how it should be. If you subdue somebody, no matter how armed they were before that, take the arms, nullify that threat, make sure they're no longer able to carry out any further attacks, and hold them for the courts to decide their fate. That's what it is. He's lucky he attacked Jammeh government. In other countries, he wouldn't have left State House that night. He would have been a dead dog. Man, Jammeh is a very patient person. A lot of coup plotters survived it. They're still alive today. They live to tell their tales. But then they turn around and lie. under Jammeh, they denied that they were part of coupists. Now they're coupists because now it's okay to glorify oneself as being a hero who wanted to kick out Jammeh. But when Jammeh was there, when they went to court, they denied they wanted to overthrow the government. Jammeh's gone. Now they're sitting at TRRC and saying, oh, yeah, we tried to overthrow him because we're heroes. Yeah? So therefore, should anyone take these people's witness account seriously? No, not me. Not anybody with principle. Not anybody with integrity, honesty. If somebody's picked up a gun and wants to kill somebody, how can that person be a lead investigator of the same person they wanted to kill? What kind of judicial process is that? The TRRC and their report. If I were Barrow, when I receive it, I'll say to them, you misled me. You didn't tell me the truth. You guys knew the law and you broke it. And therefore, because you broke the law, I have no obligation to make any white paper out of it or enforce any of its recommendations. It really is that simple. So the chief executive officer is an illegal employee. The chairman, the deputy chairman, the lead investigator, and several other people who are at the TRRC shouldn't be there. You understand? And now they're glorifying coup d'etats. And Barrow is allowing them to glorify coup d'etats because he doesn't know these people are creating a trap for him. So that's what I wanted to talk about the TRRC. We're waiting for their recommendations. So anyone that supports the truth, you don't have to be APRC. Be ready for July. We're going to counter the TRRC. I will not tell you how. Nearer the time you'll find out. You just stand up for the truth. They all know this is wrong. They know it's wrong. Go and read the legal principles of law. Just go and read them. You'll see what it says. It's listed point 1 to 19 or 22 or 23. You read them. Impartiality is very important in law. Honesty, integrity, conflict of interest should not figure at any point in any judicial process. It kills the case completely. Anyway, moving on. That's the TRRC. Now, I'm going to go to Barrow Government because I think what happened on Liberation Day, and again, thank you Gambians, thank you very much. Gambians and non-Gambians who wished the former president of the Gambia, Chair Professor Dr. Yahya Jammeh, anybody who wished him a happy birthday, thank you very much, because I've seen for once Gambian people put politics aside, differences aside, and say, look, no matter what, we're wishing His Excellency Chef Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya Jammeh a happy birthday. And that's what it is. I'm glad that Gambians are beginning to see how much work that man is putting in, or was putting in, for Gambian people. We're all seeing it now. The evidence is crystal clear. We're all seeing the collapse of state in every sector. People just turn up and steal the money from coffers of parastatals. People just turn up and take medicines from hospitals. People just turn up and slit other people's throats. People killing, people going missing everywhere. And nobody cares. And when they go to court or the police station, some of them go home. I mean, the police can't do much about it. If the police arrest them and put them before courts, if the courts free them, then that's the court's problem. It's not the police's problem. And you've seen the rampant escalation in our streets. And multiple mob justices, people taking the law into their hands to punish the thieves. In most or all cases, the punishment is more excessive than the crime that was intended to be committed, or a crime that was committed. The punishment was ridiculous. Thieves don't deserve to be treated in a certain way. Unless they're armed, then it's combat. If they're armed, I will have no sympathy. You take every measure necessary to quell the attack, or the burglary, or the breaking in. I'm not going to go to individual crimes. You've seen people, the amount of murder that Gambians are seeing on a daily basis. You know, I don't even share a lot of it. 95% of it I don't share. Because some of the murders or crimes are gruesome. Nobody wants to see them. It's absolutely ugly, grotesque. So Barrow, Liberation Day, was Yahya Jammeh's birthday and African Union Day. It used to be African Liberation Day, then they changed it to African Union Day. It signifies some sort of independence, because ending colonial rule, even though we're not fully independent, was good. No nation on earth is fully independent. Yes, United States today owes China trillions of dollars in debt. Yes, the United States, the world's biggest economy, owes China trillions of dollars in debt that they had to borrow to run their country. United Kingdom has got debt. Many countries have got debt. So therefore, no nation on planet Earth is 100%, thank you, is 100% independent. Gambia is not unique. But at least under Jammeh, African Liberation Day or African Union Day was celebrated every single year. And it was a public holiday. And it was enshrined in our law books. It was passed in Parliament, people tell me, in 2009. And the MPs have confirmed this. And it was law for that day to be a public holiday. Now, what shocked me to the core, I always suspected Barrow was not in charge of his government, that people were ruining it for him. People were taking actions on their own without informing him or without seeking authority from him. We have seen the theft of diplomatic passports. We've seen fraud in government parastatals. We've seen large-scale destruction of our environment. Yet Barrow, although he said he's the most informed person on Gambian soil, I think he was saying that for propaganda anyway. I didn't think he was telling people the truth. A lot of stuff that's happening in Barrow government, for instance, when he makes a statement that was favorable to the APRC and Jammeh, his government spokesman goes publicly to counter Barrow's statement. I mean, in which government is that allowed for people to go publicly to counter the statement given by the head of state in public? How is that acceptable? Under what administration will a head of state give a public speech and then his spokesman or the justice minister will go out in public and directly attack the president's statement? Ibrahim Sankare, Ami Bojan Siso, Batambedu, a lot of these people aren't working for Barrow. Yes, the Vice President, Dr. Aisha Ture, with all her incompetence and her instability mentally, she doesn't go out publicly to oppose Barrow. But Sankare, Batambedu, and other government people are directly undermining Barrow in their interest because they're not supporting Barrow. They're in there to earn their daily bread because these people couldn't make it overseas. That government spokesman was a scrounger, I heard. He's going from people to people asking for favors. He couldn't do anything for himself in the United States of America apart from lying on his Gambia Echo newspaper or online paper. I don't know. I never read Gambia Echo. Now he's left America to come to Gambia. They said, oh, we're coming to Gambia to help. So their former struggle was just a means of them laying their hands on the public purse so that they can get fatter on it, bigger on it, obese with protruding stomachs on the public purse. They left the United States to run back to the Gambia and take the jobs from Gambians on the ground. The chairman of TRRC ran away from his UN job or whatever job he's doing so he can come to Gambia and pay him $10,000 a month or a year, I don't know. I think it's a month. Taking the jobs from local Gambians. There's so many people on Gambian soil who are capable of being chairmen or chairwomen of the TRRC. They had to run and come and take the jobs from local people. The head of the PSC, Conte guy, ran away from the United States to come and get money easy in the Gambia. The majority of them returned to the Gambia so they can enrich themselves. They didn't go there to sacrifice for the poor people. No. Sacrifice is just an APRC and Jammeh thing. These people don't know what sacrifice is. They're nowhere near it. They're just opportunists. That's why most of them started opposing Jammeh, because he employed them. They couldn't deliver. They ran away, and then they started opposing him. They were mentioning and saying things that they knew before Jammeh appointed them. But they still took the appointments anyway. As soon as they fell out, they ran to the United States or the United Kingdom and started jabbing fingers at Jammeh. But you knew all along before you took that job that these allegations were there. So therefore, all of these activists, majority of them, not all of them, majority of them are fake. They weren't in there for Gambia. They were in there for an opportunity to put their beaks on that grain in the trough. They want to put their beaks in there. They want to peck that grain in there. You heard the metaphor of national cake. And that's the cake they're eating. Look at the people around Barrow. They've all grown in size. They've outgrown themselves. They've gone so big they can't even talk. They're lazy. They're not supporting Barrow. They're in there for their own gain. But Barrow himself doesn't know. Very soon he'll know. If he was a smart president, there was no way you would make a public statement and your spokesman or your justice minister goes publicly against your statement. They would have had their marching orders. Barrow doesn't even know what they did to Jammeh's property. They shared and sold them between themselves. The tractors, 600, 800 and something tractors, they sold and shared them. We heard the farmers in CRR complaining. Farmers in other regions complaining. Again, I've always suspected that Barrow was not in charge of his government, but it became absolutely clear on Liberation Day. By lunchtime, 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, a press statement came out on State House Gambia page. And the press statement read that 25th of May 2021 was not a public holiday. Therefore, all civil servants, all workers should go to work on the 25th of May. That was lunchtime on Monday. By 8 p.m. when Barrow was giving a lackluster speech, a speech that didn't look like he knew who wrote it, it looked like he didn't mean what he was reading. By the time Barrow came live at 8 p.m. GMT, the release has changed to, Gambia government declares the 25th of May, which is Africa Liberation Day or Africa Union Day, and Jammeh's birthday, was a public holiday. That the earlier press release that stated that the 25th of May 2021 was not a public holiday should be ignored. And therefore, at 8 p.m. at night, you're just telling people that tomorrow you don't have to come to work. They knew all along the 25th of May every year was celebrated in many African countries, not just Gambia. 25th of May is a solid day on the calendar. They knew it all along. How could you wait until 8 p.m. the eve of the bank holiday to tell Gambian people that the 25th of May was a bank holiday? Now, I blame myself and a few people because we published on Monday that the next day, which is 25th of May, so we published on Monday on Facebook and other media and Twitter on the 24th of May that the next day, Tuesday, was supposed to be Jammeh's birthday. And somebody at State House must have had a sudden rush to the blood as to why we're suddenly writing and saying the 25th of May is Jammeh's birthday and Africa Liberation Day. They must have hated our post on Facebook. They just jumped and said, all right, we're going to cancel the public holiday because Jammeh's birthday. We don't want APRC to turn Facebook green. We don't want them to turn Twitter green. We don't want them to turn the media green. They jumped, panicked, published that statement on State House page on Facebook, and then hours later at 8 p.m. the GRTS press release overturned the earlier press release. So who is Barrow's media officer? I heard he employed 4. He has got a press officer, he has got a government spokesman, he has a Minister of Information, and he has another chap who's there. I can't remember the chap's name, who's media officer at State House. Is it Jammeh or Fadera guy? I can't remember. Yeah? They were the head of media for Barrow. Therefore, they should have been the ones looking at State House page on Facebook and Twitter and other places for publication. And those pages are recognized as Barrow's official pages. So anything they wrote must have come from State House unless they're undermining Barrow government as usual. Barrow came, spoke, he said he was going to address the nation on the recent spate of crime. He came, 3 minutes, the man was done. Didn't look like he meant what he was reading. He didn't write the speech. I would have preferred Barrow to turn up switched to local languages, and spent 30 minutes laying plans that were given to him by the police, the army, the immigration, and other services as to how they're going to close down town and kick the asses of those criminals who are killing people day in, day out. Barrow turned up, lackluster. When a man turns up, his body language itself is just wrong. He just turns up, my government and I, we're going to do this. People should be, National Guard should be on standby. Yes, we know there's crap. No, stand up. You're a president. Chest up. Look at Jammeh's videos. Go and look at it, Barrow. Chest up. I've heard criminals are killing people in town. If I catch anyone committing some of these crimes in town, they will pay a heavy price for it. I'm going to deploy the police and the army to do joint patrols of the street. Day in, day out. They're going to go to strategic positions. We'll set military or police intelligence on them to ensure we shut down town and kick ass. We're going to stop the police. We're going to stop the criminals, sorry. We're going to stop all the crime. We're going to ensure the crime rates have gone down to 2016 levels. Chest up. Look at the people. Mean it. Even if a speech is written, it's just guidance. If you know your country, Barrow, if you think you're well informed like you said, like you claimed, you should stand up and tell us from the bottom of your heart. You shouldn't be reading from paper, lackluster, the body language is wrong. Looks like he was forced to stand up in front of the cameras. I can't be bothered. He doesn't do Q&A anymore. The man is tired. He wants to snow. He wants to sleep. He wants to eat his chukon. Wake up, Barrow. Stand up. Pump your chest up. Stand up and talk to people. Go to local languages if English is uncomfortable. Face your nation. Tell them what you're going to do. It's simple. Joint patrols between the army and the police. Arm them to the teeth. Give command that there's a trigger being pulled is a last resort and should only be pulled where the people they're arresting are armed, like the people who went to the Lebanese house and stole 16 million. They're armed. You tell them to put the arms down. They don't take them out. That's what a state does. You cannot negotiate with armed people for too long. No, a man turns up, he stands up, and he kept looking on the side. It's almost like he's asking his people, when is this speech going to finish? I want to get out of here quickly. He's talking to people live on camera, and he's looking on the side like, hang on, should I just leave now because this is getting boring? You're talking about the plight of your people. You're talking about the plight of your people. Face it. But anyway, that was TRRC. That's Barrow Government. I'm not going to go into crime stuff. Those are the things I wanted to address today because the TRRC is coming to an end. And thank you very much, Sekou Jallow is one of few witnesses who went to TRRC and spoke the truth. Told them exactly, absolutely rubbished all their lies because Sekou was close to Jammeh. He knows a lot. Maybe he wouldn't be present in many things, obviously. You can't be everywhere. He can only be where Jammeh was. But as an insider, he must have heard some stories. He might have seen many things. And he spoke about what he knew. Rightly or wrongly, the brother was solid. He spoke the truth, and that's what it is. Now, whether it's 100% truth, I do not know. Whether it's 90% truth, I do not know. But unlike others who just turned up and basically dance to the drum beat of the TRRC. Blame Jammeh. Say to the world that Jammeh gave me the orders to do it. And when they asked them, have you ever spoken to Jammeh? They said, no, I never spoke to Jammeh before. Did you ever hear Jammeh giving orders? No, I never heard Jammeh say. Did you see any memo from Jammeh giving those orders? No. Have you seen a video? No. Have you seen an audio? No. But you said Jammeh gave you orders to go and tell, oh yeah, I heard somebody said, yeah, he gave an executive order. Without seeing an executive order, you were going to take word from a third party to go and commit your crimes and then blame Jammeh for it. This is what it's all about. Concocted, perverted TRRC, perverted like concocted stories. Unfortunately, that's what we face. These people are not in there for the truth. They're in there for themselves. Unfortunately, brothers and sisters, that's the Gambia we have. Yeah? People don't want to tell the truth. People are not honest. And people will go with anything that sounds cool at that particular time. Anything that sounds cool at that particular time, people will do or will say. That's the world we live in now. We saw Sana Sabali come in and exonerated Jammeh in everything that they did during his time as vice chairman of the junta. Said they did what they did, and they informed Jammeh later, and he was mad when he found out they executed the 11 soldiers. The next day, they gave Sana Sabali overnight. Maybe they gave him some Jola honey, because full of honey is not nice. They was giving Sana Sabali some full of Jola honey overnight. The next day he came, he tried to undo what he said the day before, but it's too late. These things are recorded and they'll be there for posterity. Forever, eternal. So if you lied, please replay your lies in front of you. Oh, did you hear Jammeh giving orders? No. Somebody told me he gave executive order. Have you seen an executive order on paper? No. You went and committed your crimes anyway, and you blame him. So that's Gambia for you. But then again, I heard from one of the APRC fora that in New Gambia you can buy the law. Yeah? Kumbabu amday, kumbabu amudday. If your parents are connected, they got deep pockets, you can go free. Look at that boy that ran into people and killed a few people. Went free until there was a public outcry and they took him and charged him. Who knows where that case is now anyway? We've forgotten about that. Somebody sent me strong information in the APRC forum as well that Basiru Jawara's son killed his friend. Intentionally. It was not accidental. But because his dad has got deep pockets, I'm not saying he bought the Ministry of Justice or the police. Premeditated murder when he was conscious is murder. Can never be downgraded to manslaughter. But you know what they did? They downgraded the murder case to manslaughter so that he can be bailed and go home. And he went home, a murderer. Yes, it's New Gambia. You can buy the law. Yes, if your father is rich. Banana Republic. How much money you got? Show me the money. And you can get anything. Oh yeah. I mean, that's why the country is in a deep state. In a deep state of confusion. Deep, dark abyss. We're going to need somebody really smart, hardworking, honest, bold, not fearing anyone, knows what they're doing to rescue the country. Because where Gambia is today is total destitution. It's despicable. And it's caused by our fellow Gambians, all because of want for money. Illegally earned money, greed, fight for position. Look at what they're doing to Barrow. Now all of them that had brown envelopes from him are going against him openly. They're giving money to build roads. They build some rubbish roads somewhere and pocket the money. They're giving fees for as payments of fines for illegal fishing. They pocket the money. GRA revenue's gone down. Where's the other 2.5 billion gone in people's pockets? Narek, how much money is gone missing? GRA lost some money before. Ports is carnage. Gam Petroleum, where the general manager who was poor before, buying brand new Range Rovers for his girlfriends. From what money? Whose money? Giving his friends fuel coupons so they can fill up their vehicles. Some of his friends don't fill up their vehicles. They turn the coupons into cash so they can show off in their own little corners, their little petty bourgeoisie, corrupt as hell. GNPC can't repair their own equipment. Their petrol stations falling apart. GCAA or GCCA, is it GC Gambia Civil Aviation Authority? Yeah, GCAA or GIA, bankrupt. They had to go to bank to borrow money to run the department, to pay their staff salary. Gambia Public Procurement Authority in a total state of nonsense. We've seen them bickering about contracts. Finance Ministry, Gambia Public Procurement Authority. Ministry of Works. Look at the road in Carnifin South. I saw one of my friends sharing the poor state of the road. I said, now you give Jammeh respect. That was a brand spanking new road, and it looked like a road that I can build myself with zero skills in civil engineering. I can build a road like that because all I needed to do was get a bulldozer, gravel the road red, put a little bit of tar on it, put some basalt on it. That's all they did there. There was no skill in building that road in Carnifin South or ever. Somebody's pocketed millions that was meant to build that road to a decent standard. Way back to the 80s or pre-1994. Sadly, brothers and sisters, if we do not wake up, I'm telling you this, in Barrow's current state, if he wins a second term with the current people he has in government, there'll come a day you'll hear that people have resorted to eating mud. Things are that difficult right now. People don't even have mud to eat because the mud is polluted everywhere. So the Telending River, the Samsars shared the video. We can't aim. But there's something dangerous that I want to talk about right now. Very dangerous. Near Denton Bridge, they're given a license to a company to start drilling black sand near Denton Bridge. Listen to this, brothers. And if you're working at the, what do you call the authority? The National Road Authority, Ministry of Works, please pay attention. A license has been given to a company to start digging up near Denton Bridge, mining near Denton Bridge, not far from the Denton Bridge. This is dangerous, very, very dangerous. The earth is going to move. There will be settlement. All that mining that's going to take place near Denton Bridge, about 100, 200 meters away, is going to affect the earth around Denton Bridge. I don't want to wake up one morning, it could be my vehicle, could be somebody else, and then I get told that the Denton Bridge has subsided, collapsed. The earth is going to move. There should be absolutely no drilling of anything or mining of anything near Denton Bridge, because those areas need reclamation. They need redevelopment. Banjul is not good the way it is. It needs to expand beyond Denton Bridge. It needs to expand to the other side of Combo East. A plan we have, the APRC. A new city was going to be built by Jammeh, which would have gone across the other way to Denton Bridge or across the other way to Combo East. Do not drill near the bridge. Do not mine near the bridge. There's going to be earth settlement. The earth moves. You drill one large chunk of sand, another bit of it moves. They go and drill or mine near that bridge. We will wake up one day and we'll hear the Denton Bridge has collapsed. Stop it. They need to go and look at what they're doing near that bridge. It's very dangerous. I don't know what they're mining there, what they're getting there. And I will not be surprised if that company was given to the Chinese. That contract was given to the Chinese. Because I've seen NPP, which claims to be a democratic party, signing deals, partnership deals with a communist state, China. Yes, China is barely a communist state these days. I think China is a capitalist state. But they're still holding on to that tag of communism. We're all equal. But any mining near Denton Bridge is a danger to that crossing, that bridge. You know what subsidence is all about? I don't want to wake up one day and the bridge is down, or the bridge is cracked, or something has happened to it. Very dangerous. And I thought as a citizen, I'll highlight this, and I'm hoping the National Road Authority and the Ministry of Works, and whoever gave the license for the Chinese or whichever company is mining near the bridge, you need to reconsider your decision. Do a geological survey of the area thoroughly. We have a country that we need to hold on to for the next hundreds, several thousands of years to come. Let's not allow its destruction. So I've been on Facebook Live for an hour. I wanted to stay here for just half an hour. Initially, I wanted to just spend half an hour, talk about TRRC and the illegal foundation that was set for it. There will be a judicial review one day and the TRRC will be thrown out of court. Hell yeah. I am confident that's going to happen. But if I was Barrow, I was not going to waste my time. They give me their recommendations, I put it aside. Because clearly, Barrow has been misled, has been misinformed, has been told all kinds of half-truths and inconsistencies. He needs to get that recommendation, pick it up, put it aside, and get on with his business. And these people that sat there, that created the TRRC, had nothing in their minds but politics. It was political justice. It was not transitional justice. It was political justice. It was not legal entity. Absolutely political. It's expediency. They wanted, because I heard them saying in their forum, the UDP forum, oh, TRRC couldn't, Commission of Inquiry, Jammeh Commission couldn't kill APRC. It looks like TRRC couldn't kill APRC and Jammeh. In fact, Jammeh is getting more popular by the day. They're saying it. So therefore, they set these things up so that they can kill the APRC. Now, you don't want to kill a party full of lovers, genuine lovers. We love the party. We love the former president. Not because we're related, not because he's giving us anything. It's because we realized that man has done for Gambia what 432 years before him couldn't manage. That man has done for Gambia that Barrow has no hope in hell of matching. Well, Barrow has already failed. He can be helped, like I always said, Barrow can be rescued. He hasn't failed totally, but the people around him have failed him 100%. He's never going to succeed with the bunch of people he's working with now. You can forget that. I can tell you that now. See, Jammeh made running a country look easy and stylish and full of pomp and ceremony. What they didn't realize is the amount of hours that man was putting in behind the scenes so that we're safe, so that we're prosperous, so that projects can get returned on time, so that everyone in the country saw visible changes. Not just that, because some things that Jammeh did, many things he did can't be quantified. You can't count them. The amount of people he educated. See, when you educate people, it has correlations with other areas of the country. Culturally, socially, many other things change. Today, people are very well aware of their surroundings. People are educated. It's improved their health. It's improved their social bearings. It has improved their awareness of the environment. It has improved their awareness of security. It's improved their awareness of economics. So a lot of bad cultural practices that we had before Jammeh came, they don't exist anymore. And I can tell you one, which I'm very proud of, because when I was 6, 7, I used to hate it. And I used to say to my dad, he must get up and go and stop it. It's the way they treated women who couldn't bear children back in Funyi when I was little. The punishment they faced was brutal. It was unjustified. It shouldn't have continued. Must have been stopped a long time ago. But now, our own sisters, our aunts, they're educated. They know not bearing children is not just a woman's fault. It could be the man. But then again, it could be just a cycle between the woman and the man that could be rectified with education. So those practices of sitting a woman on a stone, asking her to run, and well-abled and faster men chasing and whopping her while she's running to exercise the demon that's stopping her from bearing children, that practice is all but dead in Funyi. It doesn't exist. I don't think they're doing that now. It's gone. Education has helped them. Our sisters are educated, and I'm sure other regions is the same. Education has changed some of our unhealthy cultural practices. And this is what happens when you open people's eyes. You show them television, you build them a university, you improve schools from 231 in 1994 to 1,031 in 2016. You built hospitals from only 2 in the country to 14 major hospitals. Maternity rates have fallen except for the recent spike again, which we saw. And that's because there's no blood in hospital, no blood bags, no surgical gloves, no oxygen. Electricity keeps getting cut. Water supply keeps getting cut. And our sisters are dying at labor at rates we never saw before for 22 years of Jammeh. It was improving. The hospitals don't have even paracetamol. The general medical store didn't have paracetamol the other day. They said it. Their own employees blew the whistle. Jammeh always had 7 months worth of stock in terms of medicine for all the common illnesses in Gambia. 7 months in stock. When he left, they didn't replenish those stocks. They finished in September 2017. We started having problems in hospital. Even antenatal, postnatal record books for mothers, you have to pay $150 now. For 6 months, they didn't have any of those books in any health center. They had to physically write on paper what vaccination you had, how much your child weighed, and all whatnot. They run out. They couldn't buy surgical gloves. Minister of Health, yet the Minister of Health doubled his salary. He added $115,000 to his salary. 100 to 150% salary increase. Yet he couldn't afford surgical gloves. Cheap. He couldn't afford blood bags. He couldn't afford oxygen for patients. He couldn't afford to get more than 2 wheelchairs at the hospital. Some beds in hospital don't have mattresses. Some mattresses are dead. Some patients sleep on the floor. That's where we are. Let's rise up, brothers and sisters. Let's end it. The exploitation of our poor people has gone on for 4.5 years. We've never seen this before. We didn't see it before 1994, 2016, because you knew what you were going to get. There was a deterrent. There were consequences for wrongdoing under Jammeh. You will face it, and you will regret ever committing such crimes. Under Barrow, there are no consequences for any crimes. In fact, Barrow has freed a diplomatic passport thief and re-employed the diplomatic passport thief. Bartambadus got away with taking 4 diplomatic passports illegally. Dabo had 2 in 2 different names and 2 different dates of birth, according to the list that we saw, if it's true. You can do anything you want under Barrow, nothing will come out of it. Yes, if they can buy the case of a case of murder, if they can try to bribe the families of people in Faraba to stop a court case going, what's happening to those 5 paramilitary officers they charged anyway? Gambia is a mess. Nothing is working. You can't point to anything that Barrow government is doing properly. You know why? It's because Barrow is working with his enemies and he doesn't know. But on December 5th, he will know that most of these people who were shouting and screaming his name, calling him all sorts of fancy names, were not there but to enrich themselves. We saw the Gambia Tourism Board with Hamad Ba. Hamad Ba is just there to make... And you know what? According to that guy that formed the coalition, what's his name? The Sonko guy who was an ambassador before. Hamad Ba never builds anything in Gambia. He goes and builds it in Senegal. So the man is planning his exit strategy. The corruption of Gambia Tourism Board, I covered that last year. They said I was lying. I don't have any interest in lying. What's the motivation? I don't need a job. I don't need anyone's money. I don't need fame or fortune. What's the motivation? Why would I lie? They're sharing prime government land reserved for heavy investment in favor of the Gambia. They're sharing it between themselves. In the tourism development area near Pamarima, they're sharing those pieces of land there. The greenery. Jammeh's properties and plots of land. They're sharing it. Gambia Tourism Board, they're marrying each other there. Yes, honestly, they were marrying each other until they had to move their finance director to Social Security and Housing Finance. Social Security and Housing Finance heard about his poor record at GTB, Gambia Tourism Board. They said they didn't want him. Terrible bunch of people. What a country. Never seen anything like this before. But anyway, I'm going to stop here. It's getting late. I'll come again at some point when I'm free. Thank you very much for tuning in. I just thought I'd discuss the TRRC issue. Thank you very much for Sekou. I've seen that they don't want to call Samsar and Ibu Jallo in. How can you not call the former spokesman of the junta to the TRRC? And you call it a truth, reconciliation and reparation commission. What truth is there? You call all the junta members, council members, except one spokesman of theirs who knows a lot about what happened during the junta period. You also refuse to call the army commander to tell you the truth about what happened during the time. How can you speak to subordinate officers below the rank of commander? We refuse to call the army commander Samsar to come and give his account of issues that happened between 1994 and 1996 and beyond. They didn't call the driver that was mentioned to come and testify in the Tufa raid case. They refused because he had a coherent story to tell people. They refused to call her colleague, the models that knew what she was up to. They refused to call the protocol officer, the lady that was mentioned as the one that was arranging the events of that day. Oh, but you want us to believe that the truth was spoken at TRRC? The constitution of itself is illegal. The conduct of TRRC is illegal. Therefore, any findings they make, any recommendations they make will be resting on illegal foundations, and it will not stand the test of scrutiny. Majority of cases at the TRRC that were narrated at TRRC will stand very little prospects of succeeding at court. And I can tell you that. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. I appreciate the time you put to my Facebook Lives. I have no interest in lying or turning the stories upside down. My interest is to inform people. The choice you make will be yours. I can tell you for a fact, APRC returns to government, happiness will return to Gambia. And therefore, come December 2021, please vote for APRC. Because we've demonstrated that we can secure your homes, we can secure your streets, man or woman, black or white, young or old. Under Jammeh, you walk the street at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and nothing befell you. We will again reinstate that safety in our streets by using our own sons and daughters to secure our country. We don't need an occupying force that's put Funya under siege right now. We don't need that. Our own brothers and sisters care about us. They can look after us as they did for 22 years. There was no threat of our integrity, territorial integrity. There was no threat of us losing our sovereignty. Now, all that's happened, APRC will restore hope in the country. It will once again be smiling coast of the Gambia. Will once again start developing public infrastructure that people will need, educating people in their masses. Gambia College will be free again. University of the Gambia will be free again up to undergraduate level. Vote for APRC. Think ahead. Forget about the bag of rice that you're going to get today. Within 1 week, 2 weeks, the bag of rice is finished. And the jumbo and the few other onion and Irish potato they give you. Forget about belly infrastructure. Think about your children. Think about the future. Forget about what you're going to eat right now. It'll be hard, but eventually prosperity will come if we have a very nice government in Gambia. I can promise you that. But you've seen it before. The APRC has done it for everyone, regardless of who's voting for Jammeh or not. Their parents got taken to places. Their children got taken to places. And that's the party that we have, the APRC, diverse. We always propagate equality. We always put Gambia first. We always make Gambians feel like kings and queens in Gambia and outside of Gambia. Thank you very much. APRC is the way. Think deep. Put your emotions aside. APRC is the deal. We will bring back Gambian pride. We'll bring back our safe streets. You will once again be safe in your house. We'll bring back progress. We'll educate your children. We'll treat your children. We'll treat everyone like a king and queen. We're all royals. Thank you. Good night.